Today's video, we're going to be talking about how to write a product manager resume for business analysts. Now, let me go ahead and magnify this a little bit for y'all, and it's actually going to go out there and help me out as well. So for a business analyst resume, starting from the very top, we'll have professional summaries, skills. Just as always, in the entire resume series that we have for transitioners, we've got 3 separate positions here: senior business analyst, business analyst, business analyst, considering that you have all 3 positions. And then at the very bottom here, certifications and a few side projects. Let's go ahead and start with the professional summary. You don't need a professional summary in your resume. I've been stressing about this over and over again, but for those of you who are adamant about it, my message is always, if you're going to go ahead and do it, you might as well go ahead and do it right. Reason that you don't need it: recruiters and hiring teams right now are simply just too busy to go ahead and review professional summary. They kind of want to go ahead and get to skills, experience, so on and so forth. Now, most business analysts, as with all of the resumes here, they make the biggest mistake of putting the skills at the very bottom of the resume as a one-liner right on top of your hobbies. It's not exactly doing you any favors over there. So do yourself a favor, load up as many skills as you can over here. If you need additional references, you can go ahead and utilize the buzzwords that are in this tab of the Airtable template to go out there and get additional inspiration. If you feel inadequate to any of these skills or don't feel comfortable listing on here, you can always just go ahead and delete it. And as always, you can go ahead and access all of these resume templates in my school link in the description. Having said that though, let's go ahead and actually get to the actual experience. Business analyst is a very, very, very special role. Reason for that is it's kind of corporate version of product management. And what I mean by that is, what do you mean by that, Rich? You guys are doing all the boring things that product managers don't want to do, but at the same time, a lot of product managers do, and this is actually where you have a lot of overlap with the product manager function. So let's go ahead and talk about like requirements gathering, data-driven decision-making, market research and analysis, cross-functional collaboration, performance metrics, right? There is a lot that you guys can go ahead and do here, but the one thing is that you don't actually get to go ahead and communicate all that often with the customer. So actually, for a side project, what would really help you go ahead and stand out for your side project and portfolio is actually, and you don't need this section, but if you're going to go ahead and do it, you might as well go ahead and do it right, is actually 2 things. Number 1, customer feedback integration project, where if you even could talk about like how you were interacting with the customer, because that's the part that not all business analysts get to do, is to actually have that interaction part. They're usually analyzing the data that has already been gathered by whoever else directly from the customer, but you are not usually the one that's talking directly with the customer getting that feedback in the first place, right? If you can actually show that, it makes you look like a real rock star candidate, because that's just not something that business analysts usually do. Not to say that you won't, especially in this market where everybody's doing a lot more work. The second thing here is you don't always get to see the business impact that you're making on the revenue side. So anything in terms of market expansion, and then also I have a very special section here under resume description bullets. Anything with market penetration. Scroll down. Yes, here, market penetration. This makes you look tremendously rock star in anything that has to do with revenue growth. But going back to the resume template at the very top, requirements document gathering, I would say, is pretty standard. Data-driven decision-making is pretty standard. Market research and analysis is pretty standard. Cross-functional collaboration, not always the case. So I'm going to add that right here to the very top. Product roadmap contribution too, not always the case. So I'm going to add that one right here. Performance key metrics, I'm going to add this one to the bottom. This is your resume, so you can go ahead and customize it however it is that you want. This is what I would do if I was a business analyst. Project management, I'd keep on top. Customer insights integration, ooh. This one here, I would actually prioritize to the very top. And then project management, business process improvement, I would have that. I would just kind of leave that right there where it is. And then of all of this right here, stakeholder communication, top bullet as your headline, competitive analysis, user testing support, data analysis. I'll leave that right there where it's at. What would really make you stand out a lot more as a rockstar candidate, though, is there are 3 key components that make up a product manager. Obviously, the soft skills and communication skills. If you take a look at the entire series that I'm making for in terms of the resume series for transitioners, I stress a lot about, I've been talking about, everybody's resumes from management consultants to salespeople, okay, to e-commerce people, right? Digital marketers, e-commerce. I've actually referenced customer success managers, hardware product managers, data analysts, so on and so forth. There's 3 components that make up a product manager, I would say, background in terms of how well-rounded you are. The communication side, or the soft skills, the analytical skills, and then the technical skills. In these 3 areas, if we're talking about like a software engineer, they've got the technical skills down. It's whether or not they have the analytical skills, whether or not they have the communication skills. If you're talking about salespeople, they have the sales skill down, but do they have the analytical skills and the technical skills? If you're talking about digital marketer, they have the analytical skills down, somewhat the communication skills, right? Depending on how many presentations they're making or how collaborative they are with other stakeholders, but do they have the technical skills down? To a certain degree, because there is a technical element to becoming a digital marketer. If you're talking about management consultants, definitely soft skills and analytical skills, but do they have the technical skills? So what about business analysts? What are business analysts missing? Business analysts are actually, you got the analytical side down, but do you have the technical side down? And do you have the communication side down? That's what they're actually going to be looking for. So this is actually why we want to include as many bullets as possible in terms of you communicating with the customer. Think about it this way. The skills that are not overly obvious for business analysts, or the skills that are not overly obvious for an investment banking analyst, or skills that are not overly obvious for a software engineer, right? Those are the skills that you want to prioritize at the top. Because if you're talking about things like requirements gathering or like market research, you don't even need to write it as a business analyst, especially if you're like a business analyst for a few positions. They already assume that you basically have it. So what you really want to go ahead and do is actually talk about all the things at the very top. Your first bullet in every single position is known as your headline bullet. In the world of recruiting, you want to make sure that that is absolutely spot on so that they're looking at you like a rock star candidate. What you're missing and what you're going to be missing the most in this transition, and we do have a track record in helping people make a transition coming out from a business analyst background. As you can see here, business analysts. Okay, we work with a lot of like also project managers that have a lot of overlap with business analysts, and data analysts that have a lot of overlap with business analysts as well. You need the technical side. So I'm not saying it's impossible, because you're going to be telling me like, well, I know all these other people that made a transition to product management without having AI certifications. Well, the only questions I wanted to go out there and ask you is, when did that happen, and is it happening for you right now? Okay, I take no joy in you feeling stuck at a career that you no longer find inspiring. So if you want to get access to all these resources, go ahead and check out the school link. You can access all the resources there, along with additional resources as well. If you're finally ready to make this transition and get expedited help, schedule a consultation with us. My name is Rich. I'm one of the co-founders here at Product Gym. We're looking forward to speaking with you very soon. And please don't forget to subscribe so we can continue producing YouTube videos for y'all.